Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jai Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Mr. Bhagavad Paramahansa, Bhagavad Acharya Ashtotar, the Sri Srimad Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa, Bhagavad Acharya Ashtotar, the Sri Srimad Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnavindra ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Now I have Mark 22. I think, I'm not sure. We read so many verses the other day. 11th chapter. That's what I have here. I think I marked it here with this thing. Won't make much difference. We'll read a few anyway. There's hardly any purports here. Yeah, we'll read through to 27 anyway. All right, let's start on text 20. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. All right. On this 16th day of March, 2020 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we're in chapter 11 entitled The Universal Form, text 20, page 472. You got it there, Suresh? Maybe not. Can you help him, Tapas? Oh. Page 472 at the top. There you go. Dhyava prativyor idamantarang hi vyaptam tvayake nadashascha sarvaha dristvadbhutang rupamugranta vedam lokatayam pyamyatitang mahatman Dhyava prativyor idam antarang hi Vyaptam tvayakena dishascha sarvaha. Vistvadbhutam rupamugram tavedam. Lokatrayam pyavatitam mahatman. .472 page. Dhyava prativyor idamantarang hi. Vyaptam tvayakena dishascha sarvaha. Dristvadbhutam rupamugram tavedam. Lokatrayam pravyatitam mahatman. Go ahead, Marcy. Dhyava prativyo idam antarang hi. Vyaptam tvayakena dishascha sarvaha. Dristvadbhutam rupamugram tavedam. Lokatrayam pravyatitam mahatman. Prakash. Dhyav aprativyor idamantarang hi. Vyaptam tvayakena dishascha sarvaha. Dristvadbhutam rupamugram tavedam. Lokatrayam pravyatitam mahatman. Tapas, you want to try? Dhyava prativyor idamantarang hi. Vyaptam tvayakena dishascha sarvaha. Dristvadbhutam rupamugram tavedam. Lokatrayam pravyatitam mahatman. Anyone else on this side? Lauren. Dhyava prativyo idam antarang hi. Vyaptam tvayakena dishascha sarvaha. Dristvadbhutam rupamugram tavedam. Lokatrayam pravyatitam mahatman. Dhyau, from outer space, aprativyo, to the earth, idam, this, antaram, between, he, certainly, vyaptam, pervaded, tvaya, by you, ekena, alone, dishaha, directions, cha, and sarvaha, all dristva, by seeing, adbhutam, wonderful, rupam, form, ugram, terrible, tava, your idam, this loka, the planetary systems, trayam, three, pravyatitam, perturbed, maha atman, O great one. So Arjuna is praying to this universal form of Krishna that he's been shown because he wanted to see it and he was given special eyes. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets. Okay, excuse me, let me read the translation. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O great one, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. Purport. Dhyav aprativyo, the space between heaven and earth, and loka trayam, the three worlds, are significant words in this verse because it appears that not only did Arjuna see this universal form of the Lord, but others in other planetary systems saw it also. Arjuna's seeing of the universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw that universal form on the battlefield. Okay, let's continue. Amihi tvam sudasangha vishanti Kechid bita pranjalayo grananti. Swastit yuktva maharshi siddha sangha. Stuvanti tvam stutibi pushkalabihi. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying, all peace, are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. Purport: the demigods and all the planetary systems feared the terrific manifestation of the universal form and its glaring effulgence, and so prayed for protection. Rudraditya vasavo yecha sadhya Vishveshvinao madhutas choshma pascha Gandhava yaksha sudha siddha sangha Bhikshanti tvam vismitas chayava sarve. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishvedevas, the two Ashvis, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. Rupam mahatte bahavaktra netram Mahabaho bahubahu rubhadam Bahudadam bahudangshrakaralam Drishtva loka prabhatitas tataham. Top of page 474. 474. Almighty Armed One, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. Nabas pisham deeptamane kavarnam Vyatananam deepta vishala netram Drishtvahi tvam pramyati tantaratma Dhritim nabhindam ishamam cha Vishnu. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. Going on. Now, just a note before we haven't reached a purport yet to speak on, but the fact that these verses don't have purports is significant. It means that the commentators didn't really write it much on them. And because there's not much here in terms of basic bhakti, you know. In other words, the Prabhupada will summarize the significance.
Basically understood as it is.
Huh? Yeah, they didn't feel the need. Yeah, and because therefore the Prabhupada didn't write anything. You need a book. Yeah, you're elder. She's giving you deference. 475 now, actually. Ah, no, you're right. Wait a minute.
Yeah, 474, right? 474, yeah.
Nabak Spisham.
Yeah, 34.
Okay. Yes. Nabak Spisham Deeptam Aneka Varnam Vyatananam Deepta Vishala Netram Drishtvahi Tvam Priyam Vyatitantaratma Vritim Nivindami Samangcha Vishnu. All right, we read that one. Go on to 25. Dangstrakarana nichate mukhani Dristvaiva kalan nalasannibhani Disho najane nalabhecha sharma Pasita devesha jagannivasa O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered. Amicha tvam dhritarashtrasya putra dhritarashtrasya sarve sahaiva vanipada sanghai Bhishmo drona sutta putras tathaso sahasmadiyar dapiyoda mukyai Bhaktani te tvaramana vishanti Tantra karalan hibayanakani Kechid vilagna dasanantareshu Sandrishyante churnitai uttamangai All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouths, and some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. Purport. In the previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjuna things he would be very interested in seeing. Now Arjuna sees that the leaders of the opposite party, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra, and their soldiers and Arjuna's own soldiers are all being annihilated. This is an indication that after the death of nearly all the persons assembled at Kurukshetra, Arjuna will emerge victorious. It is also mentioned here that Bhishma, who is supposed to be unconquerable, will also be smashed. So also Karna. Not only will the great warriors of the other party like Bhishma be smashed, but some of the great warriors of Arjuna's side also. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmidatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So, many people who read the Bhagavad Gita and aren't really familiar with some of the finer elements of the philosophy, they take this chapter as the height of the Bhagavad Gita, the climax of the Bhagavad Gita, and maybe even the most important part of the Bhagavad Gita. But actually, you can see, as I mentioned, because the purports or the commentary is very slim, this is an important chapter, but it's not really, it doesn't really embody a lot of the essential philosophy until the end, the very last verse. Prabhupada says this verse shows us the actual meaning of the whole Bhagavad Gita. So what's happening here? You can see there's been a transformation, very clear transformation of Arjuna's relationship with Krishna here. He starts out, he actually, the first verse is very interesting. First verse of the chapter, Madhanugrahaya Padamam. It starts with Madhanugrahaya Padamam. Madhanugrahaya means out of your mercy, just to show me favor. Anugrahaya is mercy. Padamam. Now there's something here having to do with the meter, the chanda, which we're kind of struggling through, to chant the right. Definitely didn't sound like the sages at Naimisharanya. But if you're familiar with the meter, this is these verses. Almost all of the Gita is in this simple meter. It's called Anushtup meter, or just Shloka meter, and it has 8 verses per line. There's 4 padas in each verse, and the half we've put it in 2 lines instead of the usual 4. But each quarter of the verse is meant to have 8 syllables exactly. But this one doesn't. It has 9. Madhanugrahaya Padamam. And this is a sign of increased emotion. He's very thankful that Krishna has revealed himself to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the previous chapter, he... did I say Om Jnana Timirandasya? I did. I always forget that. Just to make sure. In the previous chapter, Krishna spoke about so many of his vibhutis, so many of his glories. And before he did that, he spoke the 4 essential verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matak sarvam bhavartade, in which he's saying, I'm God. I'm the source of everything. Everything comes from me. Those who understand it perfectly, they worship me with all their hearts. How do they do so? They fix their minds on me. They get together and glorify me. They enjoy great spiritual pleasure and satisfaction doing so. Oh, we need a chair. We have to have another chair. All right, she can get. And then my response is that for those who serve me in this way and are always thinking of me, Tesham Satata Yuktanam, Bhajatam Priti, worship me with love, I give them the intelligence by which they can come to me because I'm in their heart. Out of compassion for them, I destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So then Arjuna, on his side, he says, oh, you are God. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Very important verse. He's saying, I recognize you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Abode, the Purifier, like that. And I accept everything you say is true. You see? But then, for our sake, and for other people, how can we see Krishna in this world? And we can see him through his energies. Specifically in that chapter, previous chapter, vibhutis. And the basic instruction that comes at the end, as it often does in these chapters, and that is that whatever you see that manifests some extraordinary power, beauty, glory, influence, know it to have proceeded from a spark of my splendor. In other words, this is a way in which we can perceive Krishna in this world. We go down to the ocean, and we remember that verse where Krishna says, of bodies of water, I am the ocean. And we can see it's manifesting this great power and depth and strength. The ocean is awe-inspiring. So that's what the previous chapter was about. So at the end of that chapter, Krishna, at the beginning of the next chapter, Krishna says, oh, you've shown me so much mercy by explaining this to me. But now, I would like you to please show me the universal form. And it's explained extensively in the Purvas why he wants to see that. Not for himself, because as we can see in the verse we just read, ultimately it's very frightening. Arjuna doesn't really like it so much, and he asks, in a few verses, he'll ask him, please show me your other form. Now, it's enough with this. I don't want to see it anymore. He says, I'm getting frightened. He's seeing some of his own soldiers, what to speak of, his beloved guru, teacher, Dronacharya. He taught him his martial arts, as it were. And Bhishma Dev, he's worshipable by both sides, and he's being killed by this form of Krishna. So the whole thing is a bit much for Arjuna, and so he says, let's see, how far did we get? Oh, we got to this purport, 27, right? So he's going to eventually say, please, enough of it already. So what it does, this universal form, ultimately it disturbs his natural rasa, relationship of friendship with Krishna. Because this is Arjuna's natural relationship. He's a friend. Now that was also kind of changed at the beginning of the Gita, when Arjuna took the role of a disciple for Krishna. Oftentimes he would deal with Krishna very intimately. In fact, he apologizes here. And in a few verses says, please forgive me when we were on the same bed and I was joking with you and we were sitting and I didn't realize your great power and glory, like that. But all of that is not really very pleasing to Krishna either. He wants to have that friendly relationship. So that's why we haven't seen many commentaries here.
One question.
Yes, sir.
So Arjuna could see what's going to happen in a while, like all these people will be killed. And then
yes, well, he sees that they're being killed, but they're not actually being killed at this time. In other words, the battle hasn't really begun yet. But this is by that force of this universal form, he will reveal. No shoes. Yeah, you can go out the side door if you need to. Can you show her? Because she won't know how to push it. I think she was in the bathroom, I think. Came in the side door. We need to keep that door locked. So Arjuna has come to the point now where he's beholding Krishna in his most fearsome form, and then he'll ask him, who are you? And in a few verses he will say, I am time. And time really is the all-destroying, as he says, I've come to destroy everything. So this is not a form that devotees want to meditate on. We don't perform arti to this horrific time factor that's destroying everything, Huh? Yeah. But it's not a form that the bhaktas want to see, right? Especially. So this is so Arjun is becoming less eager to see this as the revelation continues. All right, let's go on. Yata nadinam bahavombo vega samudrameva vimukha dravanti tatatavami nadaloka vira vishanti bhaktranyabhivijvalanti. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. Actually, it should be enter into your blazing mouths. There's some mistakes here. His mouths are blazing. Yata pradiptam jvalanam patanga vishanti nashaya samriddha vega tataiva nashaya vishanti lokas tavapi vaktrani samriddha vega. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. Leliyase gusamana samantal lokan samagran vadanardvaladbhi tejo badapurya jagat samagram Bhasastabhogra patapanti Vishnu. Oh Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible, scorching rays. Akyahime ko bhavanugra rupo Namostute deva vara prasida Vikyatamichami bhavantamadhyam Nahi prajanami tava pravittim. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. Okay, now comes this answer. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Kalosmi Loka Chayakrit Pravidho Lokan Samahartumiha Pravittaha Vite pitvam nabhavishyanti sarve Ye vastitha pratyanikeshu yodha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Purport. Although Arjuna knew that Krishna was his friend and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore he asked further about the actual mission of this devastating force. It is written in the Vedas that the Supreme Truth destroys everything, even the Brahmins, as stated in the Katha Upanishad 1.2.25. Yasya brahma cha chatram cha ube bhavata odanaha Mrityu yasyo pasechanam kaita veda yatra saha. Eventually, all the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and everyone else are devoured like a meal by the Supreme. This form of the Supreme Lord is the all-devouring giant, and here Krishna presents himself in that form of all-devouring time. Except for a few Pandavas, everyone who was present on that battlefield would be devoured by him. Arjuna was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight. Then there would be no frustration. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed, for that was his plan. If Arjuna stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of nature. So this is a famous verse. Some of you weren't here when I said, you may not gotten this information. But back in 1944, was it, when they blew up the first atom bomb? Maybe it was 45. At Alamogordo, there was a program called the Manhattan Project. It's kept secret, even though thousands of people were working on it. They were racing to try to get the atom bomb before Hitler did. And it was run by this one top scientist named Robert Oppenheimer. If you study in your scientific history, you'll read about him. So he was a student of Bhagavad Gita to some degree. And when that first bomb blew up on the desert in Nevada, or New Mexico, I'm sorry. Of course, they had all these bunkers and everything, and everyone was wearing dark glasses or smoke, I remember reading about it in the last 10 years, and they weren't sure. There was a chance that it was going to blow everything up. The whole universe was going to blow up. They weren't quite sure, but we got to blow it up anyway. Anyway, it didn't, obviously, but it was unprecedented power. So he chanted this verse that we just chanted. He knew the verse because he was a little bit of a student. He maybe studied some Sanskrit. I don't know. And because it is exactly like that. It's this huge force that's unprecedented, and just puts you in awe of the power. In this case, I don't know. Maybe it was religious or not. But this is actually what time is. Time is the greatest force. I'm reminded of this wonderful prayer by Uddhava. Uddhava was in the same position as Arjuna. Uddhava was a student. There's something called the Uddhava Gita in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. From about 11:6 to 7, it goes on for about 20 chapters, I think. Maybe less, but it's an essential part of the 11th canto. And it's Krishna's last instruction. Uddhava is a very intimate associate. If you read Krishna book, you read about how he was sent to Vrindavan to see the gopis and console Mother Yashoda and the others. He was a great friend and confidant of Krishna. So he got the blessing of hearing Krishna's last instructions. And what they are, they're many of them, they reflect some of the same themes as the Bhagavad Gita, but they're more extensive. So in the middle of that Uddhava Gita, just like in the middle of the Gita, Arjuna will ask some questions. In the middle of Bhagavatam, Parikrit will ask questions. Please speak about this, Shukadev, And so he's asking a question for offering a prayer, actually, to Krishna in the middle of this Uddhava Gita. So what he says is, Dashtam janam sampatidam bilesmin kalahina chudra sukhoru tarsham samudharainam kripayapa varga vachobadasin chamahanubhava. So what he says there, he says, my dear Lord, Dashtam janam, I have been bitten. This jana, this person, me, I have been bitten by the snake of time, the powerful snake of time. Kalahina. Kala is time, ahina is the snake. I've fallen into the snake hole of the material world, bile, and I'm threatened and being bitten by this snake of time. And yet, foolishly, Chudra Sukhoru Tarsham. Chudra means insignificant. Sukha means happiness. Uru means great. Tarsha means thirst. I still have a great desire to experience insignificant sense gratification. In other words, this is our position. Even though every single one of us knows that we're going to die, that we're going to be swept away by time, still we don't inquire, is there a solution to this problem? Is there a solution to the problem of birth and death and old age and disease? Not just some, mitigation, some medicine or, temporary attempt to put it behind, forget about it, but really to solve it so we don't have to suffer it again and again. Nobody's asking that question except for you devotees and, transcendentalists. So rather, we are so accustomed to this insignificant sense gratification that we take that, and what that is really a kind of a drug to help us forget that we're mortal. All of this sense pleasure, it's a cop-out. And some of the extreme examples, we know drugs of all kinds, intoxicants, where you dull your awareness of the pain, and so forth. But it comes down on your head. Right now you got this coronavirus, and everyone is suddenly, my God, what's going on? My routine is disrupted. I can't, everyone's freaking out, because this is the nature of the material world. You can take it as an adidaivic misery, right? Because it's hardly even an organism. These viruses are like between inanimate and animate, right? But it's a threat, and there's nothing they can do about it. We can try to mitigate it and deal with it, but so this is the nature of the material energy. So what does Uddhava say? Now, after painting that picture of the conditioned soul in the material world, which is like a blind well, you can't see anything. You can't see Krishna. You don't know. You're in ignorance. So it's like being in this well and being threatened at all times by time and its agents, which are these threefold miseries. So what does he say? What's the solution? Knowledge is the solution from the right source, or it could be the better source than Krishna. Right? That's Arjuna's. That's why we're sitting here listening to Bhagavad Gita. So he says, Samudharainam, please completely lift me up. Samudharainam is to deliver me from this hole, from this trap. Samudharan kripaya apavarga, out of your mercy, speak to me, sprinkle upon me your nectarian words, which bring about apavarga. Now, apavarga means liberation. There's this wonderful little commentary on that word, apavarga. Prabhupada would share with us. Some of you may know about the Sanskrit alphabet, how it's divided into different categories, right? The different consonants. There's different vargas, which are the groups of consonants. So there's I don't know it that well myself, but there's something called the pa vargas. They start with the letter P. These are labials. They're voiced just with the lips. You don't have to do anything inside with the tongue and everything. Pa. There's the aspirated version of the P, which is with the H. It doesn't sound like P, like F. This Phala thing came in from Britain when they invaded India. They did some of that same language. Phala. No, it's Phala. Anyway, so you have a little air behind it. So pa, ba, and ma. There's 5 of them. And each of them represent, or begin, a word that describes our situation in the material world. So pa stands for parishrama. Means working very hard. And the struggle for existence, Prabhupada would call it. And everyone is working hard. If you have half a job, if not, that's even more difficult, So, and from working hard, so hard, you foam at the mouth, like a horse. You ever see a horse run after a big race? So that's painila, you see? Then there's the B. Now the B stands for different things. It can stand for just banda, which means bondage. But mostly it's called bhyartata, which means frustration. You work very hard, but you still go into debt, can't pay your debts, You're frustrated in your efforts to win this fight of existence. And therefore, bhaya is there. Main problem, fear. This is inevitable in all of everyone's material life. And then finally, to top it all off, M. What do you think M stands for? Yeah, mrityu. Mrityu is death. Is a Sanskrit word for this is why this martyaloka. It's the same word as in English. Mortician. Get it? The same word is there. So this is the 5 things. The working very hard, foaming at the mouth, being bound up, or frustration, fear, and death. So apavarga negates all of these. By becoming liberated soul, even when you're in this body, you can be liberated. But the main point is you're getting free. You're progressing toward that freedom from bondage in the material world. All of these are negated, including death. You become immortal. So that's what we should search after. And this Robert Oppenheimer, when he saw that, he chanted this verse because, he felt like Arjuna on the battlefield. Wow, and completely awed, So he's telling him, you're all going to be slain anyway. So that kind of, that's another way of negating Arjuna's argument. what's the point? You may leave the battlefield, but they're going to die anyway. If you stay on the battlefield, then you can be part of, the whole victory, and your brother will be in charge, Yudhisthira, and Dharma will rule. And this is my desire. So this is another aspect of this thing going on here. Any questions on these points? Okay. So, therefore, Krishna says, text 33, Tasmat tamuttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrun bhungshva rajyam samriddham maya vaite nihita purvameva nimitta matram bhavasavya. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory, conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Purport. Sabyasachi refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. I think it also means like ambidextrous. You can shoot with either hand. The Bhagavad told us that. Thus Arjuna is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies. Just become an instrument, nimitta matram. This word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan, and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this, or maybe like that. But there is no question of perhaps and maybe. There is a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestation is a chance for the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home. As long as they have the domineering mentality, which makes them try to lord it over material nature, they are conditioned. But anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme Lord and cultivate Krishna consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic manifestation are under the superior guidance of God. Thus the battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of God. Arjuna was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight in accordance with the desire of the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy. If one is in full Krishna consciousness and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service, he is perfect. So, this is, suddenly we're getting the essence of Krishna consciousness here. This phrase, nimitta matram bhava sabyasachi, is famous. This is kind of what Krishna consciousness is all about. Become my agent, nimitta matram. Nimitta matram means do the will of God. If you do my will, then you'll ultimately be happy. Now you're thinking you'll be happy by leaving the battlefield, so you won't have to kill your beloved guru and your beloved grandfather and all the other. You had so many relationships there, blood relationship, other relationship. But that's not going to make him happy because it's not Krishna's desire. Ultimately, that's the bottom line in Krishna consciousness. We have to give up our sense of independence, which has simply gotten us birth after birth of suffering in different species, and that's the disease. You can't have a healthy disease. People try to adjust this way, that way, this material thing, so it's not going to work because it doesn't really get to the root of the problem. When I was a youngster, I fancied myself a radical. You ever hear the radicals? Radical literally means one who goes to the root. That's what the or is. So we thought that the root of the problems was the capitalist system. Was this? But that's really that's a manifestation of the problem, but it's not the essence of it. The essence of it is this sense of independence from God, is forgetting Krishna. And probably even understanding how popular in the 60s, communism was talked about much more. Now that the Soviet Union, after it collapsed, it was obviously a bankrupt philosophy. But that doesn't mean that capitalism won the argument and that's the solution to all the problems. That's just as bad. But the whole idea is the root is not capitalism, communism, or any other ism you may come up with, but it's the fundamental mistake, or you call it the original sin, if you will, of turning away from Krishna and refusing his will. It's just like we've become a crippled limb. You know, Prabhupada often says, we're like part and parcel of God, right? Therefore, we're meant to act like the hand or any of the limbs, which act in coordination with the desire of me. I'm in the soul in there. We're all playing at being God in our own little universe, the universe of the body, you see? But it's not really our universe. It's part of the larger, and so ultimately the body drags you down and you die and all your plans are frustrated. But in ordinary life, whatever we want to do, I want to go here, the feet go there, walk there, you know, I want to read this, do that, push that button, things happen. We act like we're in control, right? Because everything is working right. But the point is that we are, as a whole, have rebelled against Krishna. We're not doing his will. We're not doing nimitta matram. We're not his agents. And it comes, you know, it's very starkly portrayed here in the Bhagavad Gita because it's life and death, very dramatic situation right on the battlefield, you know. The last thing Arjuna wants to do, you go to the first chapter, is to engage in this battle and kill his friends and relatives, even the sons of Dhritarashtra, who conspired again and again to murder him and his brothers. He says, oh, I can't stand to live without the sons of Dhritarashtra. I mean, this is a sign of his compassionate heart. He's a devotee, you know. But the point is that he's making a big mistake. He's you know, for teaching us, Krishna made this arrangement. He's in the bodily concept of life. And once you get in the bodily concept of life, all of the arguments that come out of that, the conclusions, are a big mistake. You know, it's the old thing. You're doing these a big computation or equation on the board. When I went to my university experience, which was all of like about 4 months in the University of Chicago in September of 1965, believe it or not, I wasn't even 18 years old yet. So then I was, you know, I got to audit a few classes. I mean, I sat in, you know, and see, well, what if I go down this route and I take more mathematics, what's it going to be like? My brother had already done that. So I was able to sit in this class, and they had these blackboards. There was no computers or anything at that time. And it wasn't a blackboard, it was actually green. And he could move one blackboard and show another blackboard behind it so he could continue showing the equation. And like the first, you know, 15 minutes of the class, he was just writing this equation, none of which I could understand, the whole thing right on it. You know, moving the blackboard, right? And it was like a, you know, completely beyond my ken. You know, I didn't understand anything that was going on. But it had great meaning for the rest of the students there. They were taking notes, you know, and it was part of the course, you know, like that. So the point is that this whole world is a mystery to us. And if he makes a mistake at the beginning of that equation, and it carries it through, the whole thing is going to be messed up. Just like one of your computer programs, right? If you you screw up at the beginning, then the whole screen goes blank. And then I have to call Tapas to come over and do something. But it's just like that. We made the wrong conclusion that with this body, and everything else that follows from that is wrong, has to ultimately fail. Because as we just learned from, you know, time will destroy everything. It destroys all our plans, all our relationships, all, you know, whatever shelters you have, bank account, this or that. It all goes down the drain. Finished. You see? And there you are, heading toward your next body, which very likely won't be a human being from this culture. And it's all gone. You haven't moved 1 inch toward the goal of life. Just the opposite. So this Krishna consciousness movement, now, you know, in the 11th chapter, we're going to come to the end. You know, at the end actually has this beautiful verse that encapsulates. Bhagavad says this verse gives the summary of what Krishna consciousness is all about. So after this dramatic display, and Arjuna's high emotion and seeing this, you know, you can imagine make a movie of it. It all culminates in the final couple of verses where Krishna comes back to his beautiful two-armed form, you know, and Arjuna is relieved. And then the next chapter is almost like you come out of this drama and all of this death, you know, people getting their heads crushed between the teeth of the universal form, and it's all about bhakti. It's just 20 verses about bhakti. The next chapter is called Bhakti Yoga. So it is very dramatic when you see the context of it. But the whole idea is nimitta matram. We're meant to be Krishna's agents. We're part and parcel of Krishna. The more that we can actually do what he wants, and his desires are conveyed to us through great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada. We can read the Bhagavad Gita, but if we don't read it with the proper commentary and understanding, we won't get the result. It's kind of hidden. I mean, I read the Bhagavad Gita. It was a little paperback about this thick. When you boil it down to just the translations, you can see how small it can be. No commentary, no Sanskrit or anything. But the problem is you don't really get the result. You can't understand what to do really after reading it on your own. You need the guidance. That's why the as it is so important, with the commentary, an example. So it's the more we can become Krishna's agents, the more that we can do what he wants. Well, it's not very complicated. We heard at the end of the 9th chapter, the essence of the whole thing, the most confidential knowledge. Man mana, bhavamad bhakto, madhyaji, maham namaskuru. Those 4 things. Think of me. Become my devotee. Bow down to me. And worship me. If you stay connected to me in this way, you'll certainly come to me. And he repeats it in the 18th chapter. Guyatamam. I just heard a lecture Prabhupada was giving on this 9th chapter. And he's saying there's guya, there's confidential knowledge, guya tara, more confidential, and guya tamam, most confidential. And the most confidential knowledge is what we do every day. Think of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Become his devotee, so many things to do, from morning till night. And offer obeisances so many times a day, and worship Krishna. It's simple for the simple. Those who accept the truth that's been given to us by great acharyas. So any comments on questions on these points? We'll pick up tomorrow. Text 33. Did we do text 33? Yes, we'll do text 34. And thank you all very much for coming out on this new reality. Yes, go ahead, Heather. But we are running out of time, so. Huh?
Why does Krishna eat people?
Why does he eat them?
That's what it says, he devours them.
Well, it's not Krishna that's eating them. It's not the Krishna with the flute and dancing in the who's eating the people. This is time in the sense of destroying everything, chewing everything up and turning it into dust. Dust thou art, dust thou beest. So it's a manifestation of Krishna through the material energy. That's what the universal form is all about. We see God manifest about us, and the whole world is it's giving life, and it's also taking it away.
So when we see great
But we're going to run out of time, and this curtains are going to open.
destructive forces, right?
Yeah.
That's still Krishna.
Yes, it is. It's an aspect of Krishna. Uh-oh. Okay. That's a sign that we have to end. But we'll do the kirtan, and maybe we'll have some time after. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.